old roommates. This week, we talk about the 80s movie Xanadu, starring Olivia Newton-John and Gene Kelly. So grab your roller skates and join us.
Hey everybody, it's Brian.
And Christina.
And we did something a little bit different this time. So, as you know, we always revisit pop culture. Actually, this is the only podcast that revisits pop culture through a middle-aged lens. However, it occurred to us that at some point in our lives, we have seen different movies that the other has not seen.
Strangely enough.
Important films.
Groundbreaking.
And we decided that wouldn't it be fun to do something that I've seen that I'll make Christina watch, and she'll make me watch something that she adores from the past that I had never seen before. So we started with me. My choice was Xanadu, the 1980 film with Olivia Newton-John, and Christina had never seen it. So in terms of then, I will start because for you there wasn't really a then.
There was no then.
This movie, so I will admit, and I don't know if I'm alone in this, but sometimes when I was a kid, I would feel like I would be closer to the artist if I owned, like, whatever they did. So, like, the soundtrack. Mm-hmm. So, for Xanadu, I had the vinyl. For Christmas and my birthday, I would like the vinyl, the cassette tape, and then when it came out on CD later, I would ask for that. But, like, as if somehow it made me closer to
that makes sense. I've actually bought quite a few soundtracks in my day, I think, because of that. Yeah,
and I was like 7 or 8 years old at this time. So, and then I actually, after Xanadu, I was obsessed with Olivia Newton-John, and I wrote to her. Did I tell you the story?
Did she ever write back?
So here's the thing. She kind of did, in the sense of like I was so excited.
A cease and desist.
So I wrote to her just saying, like, you are so beautiful, you are so talented, I love you, you're an amazing actress and singer, and I love Xanadu, and I've seen it a million times, and I did, because I would just, like, if anyone was taking me out, that's all I wanted to do was see Xanadu. So, and I got something in the mail from her, and I was, like, so excited, because the return address was Olivia Newton-John, and it was very legitimate, and I was like, oh my god. And I opened it up, and she had sent me an autographed picture.
Very sweet.
And a letter that was completely like, Xerox.
Like a form letter.
A form letter. Basically like, dear fan. And,
oh, no.
Yeah, if I find
it was probably before they had like a mail merge option.
What's a mail merge?
You know, when you have a form letter and you like merge the name in it, like Dear Brian.
Well, so it was, but the letter was like, thank you so much for being a fan, and, you know, I love all my fans, and then there was another page, and it was like, here are some causes that are important to me, please donate money. And I'm like, well, then you didn't read my letter, I'm 8. Right. If I'm 8 years old, I'm not donating to a cause.
Oh.
Like, so I think it was just a little too, like, but I always loved her, I still love her, but Xanadu, so it was just one of those things where the music, her voice, her beauty, like, and I think because, and we'll get to this, there's a very light story. Mm-hmm. That when you're 8, you kind of don't want the story to get in the way of the music.
Right.
And she's a very big part of the movie, and I think
she's
I really
such a fresh face. She's just so likable.
Yes, she is.
You know, she's just easy. Mm-hmm. You know, like just easy breezy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could see how an 8-year-old would really love that character.
Like, blonde and sweet and friendly and great singer. So that was that. But I want to start with you, Christina, when we talk about now. Mm-hmm. So now, you watched this when?
I watched this a few weeks ago.
For the first time ever.
For the first time ever. So not only was I watching it for the first time ever, but I knew absolutely nothing about it.
What?
I didn't know anything about it. I didn't
songs.
know. Well, I knew there were some Olivia Newton-John songs in there. But I didn't know the story. I saw, and I intentionally didn't read the back because I felt like I had lasted this long without knowing. I might as well just put it in without knowing what it was.
Okay.
Throw caution to the wind. And, the cover is a picture of her on roller skates.
Right.
So my thought was it was a roller skating movie. And it was 80s, right? So that was really big. The roller skate, venues were big. I just figured it was something to do with like an 80s music roller skating rink. Not at all what I found that to be. I can't even describe my feelings watching this movie. It was so bizarre watching this movie. I'm like, okay, what am I watching? It was so cool coming into it without knowing anything about it. It was a really cool experience. Although the whole time I'm watching it, I'm thinking to myself, I really wish I had seen it when I was in the 80s. Mostly because I used to like to watch movies in like a different state of mind. And if there was ever a movie to watch in a different state of mind, like this would be the one. God. It was so crazy, so bizarre. The storyline, like you said, was so light. Yeah. The acting, for the most part, was so horrendous. It was like, do you realize there's a camera on you? Do you realize this is not community theater? Olivia Newton-John was pretty good, though, I have to say. I had never seen a Gene Kelly movie before.
Okay.
And so I was really excited that he was in it. And for some reason, I was thinking he would just be like this bit part, but he was actually a major character in this movie. And I was happy to see that. I'm like, wow, it actually sort of inspired me to I haven't done it yet, but to look up old movies from him. Because obviously he's a very famous actor and dancer. And
68 years old in this movie, by the way.
68 years old. I know. That's why I sort of, I don't know, I just expected him to be sort of like, I don't know, a god or something. I don't know, like some special sort of character. So yeah, I mean, everything about it was so bizarre. The, changing of the scenes, like the transitions from scenes to scenes was sort of like this, like, like I was watching some Saturday morning cartoon. It was just, everything about it was so fun. I mean, I don't even know. So I just keep going on? Because I will just go on for another half hour about
maybe
my
this is
experience.
Maybe this is why we don't do these things commonly.
Right.
But it's, so it's funny for me. I'm glad. You sound actually positive. I'm watching, because then I watched it 2 nights ago, or 3 nights ago, and I was watching it almost like kind of like through your eyes, and I'm like, okay, Christina is going to kill me. Like, because I love it, and there's that nostalgia overload where I'm like, I think I'm liking this more because of how I felt then. There are very big problems with this as a film. Oh my gosh. As a film. And actually, there's a little bit of history where... So, one more thing about then. I remember when Leonard Maltin from Entertainment Tonight, the film critic, released a book of his reviews. And it's a huge book. And I loved film reviews then. And now. And so I bought the book because I was a fan of Leonard Maltin. And I was like, I'm going to look up Xanadu because it's my favorite movie. And I flip over and there's, under Xanadu, there's like, where the star rating usually goes. There's a little icon of a turkey. And I was like, oh, is that like a family film? Like Thanksgiving? No. And I'm like, what does that mean? So I look in the key.
That can't be good.
And it's, if this film has a turkey symbol, it is one of the worst films ever made. And I was like, what?
Wow. So I would tend to agree with him on that one, but... I mean, it was poorly made. It was poorly made. No, not one of... Well, I don't know. It was poorly made.
All right, so...
Entertaining.
All right. I will say this. In terms of the acting, all right, if we're going to start negative... Okay. I would say Michael Beck, is that his name, the actor?
Yes, well, I forgot he even existed.
Can he even roller skate well?
Oh, I have a note in here. I don't think he's been on roller skates before. He was rolling. He's supposed to be like sort of a professional roller skater. Yeah. He had to roll into the walls to stop. Like he didn't know how to stop. He actually like rolled into a wall. Like that's how I stop on roller skates.
He is so stiff on roller skates. I'm like, wait, what am I like? I forgot about that, and I never noticed it because I was too busy with Olivia. But like, also, I don't know if this was a choice he made or if the filmmakers made or the script writer, assuming there was one, wrote it. But like. How you can play a drinking game where every time he began a sentence with "Hey," you'd get drunk. I swear to God, I started writing them down. Hey, mister, what you doing up there? Hey, I don't even know your name. Hey, how do you know my name?
Oh, that's funny.
Hey, when did you get here? Hey.
Oh my gosh.
God. And then he has the line where guys like me shouldn't have dreams anyway. But the thing is, there are these grand statements that are just lost on him. Like, I don't know. He's not a good actor in this. I don't know
I don't know what else he's been in.
I don't know his filmography. But in this, he is stiff.
Although, was he in The Warriors or something?
He was in that, yes.
That's how okay.
Stiff. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it must have been. It had to have been his first movie. So, but the whole, script-wise...
It wasn't his first movie.
He was like, it wasn't?
No, because in I watched the trailer, it says, the star of The Warriors. And I'm like, oh my God, so this is not... He is really rough in this movie.
Yeah, he was very, very rough. And I think a lot had to do with, the script. And, there's no character development for him. Like, he's supposed to be some sort of, rebellious artist. But,
which, by the way, let's talk about that.
Yeah.
As an adult, all the guy wanted to do was his job.
Yeah. Oh, totally.
Hey, listen... Don't create a new work of art. Just truly copy what the artist did. Because guess what? When you F around with someone else's art to get ahead on your own, artists don't like that. So you're kind of being a jerk.
That's what his job was. It wasn't to...
And be thankful the guy took you back.
And he never shows... he shows up late, right? He was a terrible employee.
Punk. He's a total punk.
Yeah.
I would actually argue that the boss, actor I don't know, I didn't write his name down, was probably one of the better actors.
Yes, I agree. Movie, right? I agree.
You got him right away. Mm-hmm. He didn't overdo it. He yelled, but it was only because he was at the top of the staircase.
Right.
I actually really liked his performance.
I was definitely on the boss's side. Get out of here. Why are you even here? Just do your job or leave.
All he's saying is don't put in your own touches on someone else's work of art. It's like someone.
And how cocky is he thinking? Oh, I can do this better, right?
Super rude.
Well, why don't you have a job? As an artist, if you're so good, and they're all you're so amazing.
He says it. He says that he went to freelance. And, hey, you know what? And all I'm doing is painting some guy's van or painting a mural, whatever. And it's maybe you weren't that good because now you're crawling back and you're ungrateful when they take you back.
Yes. Yeah.
So it was a little... his whole character is infuriating. And I also wonder, as you're talking, I realize he doesn't sing.
He does sing.
Wait, which song?
He sings Suddenly.
That's not him.
Not Suddenly. Yeah.
No, it's not his voice.
Are you sure?
Oh, shit.
Are you sure?
I'm pulling
okay, and here's why.
Talk, Christina.
Okay, so this is why. So the best part of this movie was the songs. The songs were the best part of this movie. It brought me back. I loved the soundtrack. So I guess I didn't realize I didn't have the soundtrack, right? Because I never watched the movie. But these songs must have been top huge 40 hits. Or whatever, huge hits.
Magic was number one for weeks.
Yeah, so I remember these, and I was really singing along with them. Best part, but suddenly, was it Suddenly? The duet.
When they're on roller skates all around.
I had this taped, right? And I used to sing it all the time.
Oh my God, but you never knew where it came from.
And... Well, I knew it was Olivia Newton-John. Okay. I don't think I knew it was on the Xanadu soundtrack. At least I don't remember knowing that. Maybe I did, and I just forget that I knew that. But I remember Michael Beck and having a little bit of a crush on him because of this song.
Christina, you're not going to like what I have to tell you.
So tell me who it was.
Cliff Richard.
Cliff Richard.
Yeah.
I don't know who that is.
Yeah.
Maybe did they have a video of them singing together or something? Like a music video?
Maybe, I don't know.
Because somehow I knew that name, Michael Beck, and I had a crush on him because of this song. So I don't know. Wherever that came from.
Yeah.
It came from.
Yeah.
But I was singing along. I hadn't heard Suddenly in a million years.
Yeah. It was really nice to hear a lot of these songs again.
It really was.
Yeah. I'm jumping, as shallow dives only here, but it's with Xanadu, what a cool song. I love the number. I don't love the roller skating thing before it goes on way too long. You know what I'm talking about, the end.
Yes.
But when Olivia Newton-John pops out, she is the most gorgeous woman, I think, alive at
She's
the time.
always been absolutely beautiful. She's right up there with
And
like Jacqueline Smith.
Yes,
like
she
has that classic beautiful
beauty. And she busts out and she's like, a place. And it's like just perfect. And I just love that song. And the song was like, you know, this is actually like, it's interesting. Xanadu is an interesting song because it is about a place that exists only in this movie.
Right.
And it was a huge hit song. And you're going around singing about a nightclub in a movie. I mean, it's weird. It's almost
so
like,
weird.
I guess, Copacabana, I guess.
Yeah, oh, there you go.
But it's like, it's funny, but works as a really good song. There's a lot of good songs in this.
A lot of good songs. So again, I really enjoyed Gene Kelly in it.
Yeah.
Again, like the script was so weird. Like, so, I mean, was it me or the like crazy gay undertones between him and the Michael Beck character? Like, I feel like so much of that dialogue, it was like, I wrote a couple of them down. First of all, he like gives half a club to somebody he just met. Like, he literally met him like last week. And he's like, here, have half a club. I'm giving this to you. A couple of things. It's just the two of us. I've never had a partner before.
Okay.
Like a lot of like weird, and then there was like that whole dress up montage with them.
Yeah.
It just seemed very gay to me.
That's interesting.
Yeah, it seemed very, very gay to me. I don't know.
So we're talking about Gene Kelly now, and I will say, so this is what time will do to a person. So when I watched it now, I really thought they focused on the wrong relationship. Like, wouldn't it have been more interesting if you had this sort of like, she's kind of suspended in time, if you will, but he's an older man now trying to reclaim, like, trying to get his energy back. I cared much more about Gene Kelly's story.
I agree.
Than him.
I was waiting for him to come back on screen. Like, I cared much more about him. I loved his numbers. I loved, there was one weird when he was like sitting there talking to himself.
Chilling. That's kind of creepy, right?
It was
like,
so weird.
And he says, he's making weird faces in the mirror.
Yes.
And he's like, you probably wouldn't even recognize me now. And I felt sad about that.
Yes.
But then it leads to a really cool musical
dance number.
Yeah.
So, and I loved that. It was great seeing him dance. I was waiting for him to dance. I'm like, I'm really hoping that he dances in this movie.
Yeah.
And I was so glad that he did. Because, again, I hadn't seen any of his movies. I know he's, like, really famous for his dancing. I will say, I really loved Olivia Newton-John in this whole movie, except I don't think that they should have put her next to him dancing because it made her look like a really bad dancer. Did you notice that?
I watched the documentary right after the movie, and that is a point. So here's the thing. In the first cut of this movie, that scene isn't in there. So when they showed it to critics and investors and all these, like, I've maybe more for investors and producers and stuff, they're like, wait a minute. It was done, by the way. The movie was done filming. Yeah. It's like you had Olivia Newton-John and Gene Kelly in the same like area, and you didn't have them dance together and do a duet.
Interesting.
So it was added later, and when you watch the documentary, it's like, oh yeah, Olivia Newton-John, they really tried to find a dance she could do. Yeah, it was last minute. She wasn't. She was game to do it, but she's not a dancer like that. At least certainly not a tap.
And honestly, like, I really feel like if they weren't next to each other, she would have been great.
Gene Kelly wanted it that way. Like, he wanted them to...
It makes sense that they were together. But I'm just saying that she would have looked better as a dancer if she wasn't right next to Gene Kelly. Because he was great. Like, he was amazing. But I'm like, I wrote a note, like, she had, like, floppy arms. And, like, it was really clear that she wasn't a dancer because of who she was standing next to.
It's funny. I didn't think she was horrible. Because I was really... Trust me. Like, I've watched so many seasons of Dancing with the Stars, and I know what to look forward to with the plot. And I will say, like, I thought it's funny because I was like, oh God, maybe I hope she's okay in this scene because I forgot if she was good or not. And but I didn't think she was bad. Maybe because I was expecting her to be awful. Do you know?
Right. So the expectation was there,
right. But he's such an amazing. To your point, he's an amazing.
At 68,
dancer.
He's still doing this great dancing. I really do want to see another a movie with him in it. If any of the listeners have any sort of recommendations, I don't know where I would even start.
Singing in the Rain.
Oh, right.
Yeah, that would make sense. Big.
I've seen clips from that.
So I wrote a note that I don't know what it means. I wrote the oh-so-subtle transition of scenes, rabid squirrels and giggling bugs. Why did I write that? Was I drunk?
Probably. Right. It sounds like you were drunk. But like the transitions of scenes, like was there like characters? Yeah, it reminded me of like did it remind you of like almost like a Scooby-Doo like cartoon, like
yeah,
like these.
But
so maybe that was like maybe it sounded like a squirrel to you. Maybe that's what it was.
Oh my God, Christina. Giggling bugs, yes. That's exactly
Giggling
what it was.
Bugs, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what I'm here for, babe.
Thank you. And
so what else? What else? Loved.
Oh, I'm dying to hear your thoughts on the animated sequence. Don't Walk Away. When they're and also it's done at the wrong time because they're together and they go right from like there's a rose and the rose blooms and they're standing there.
Yeah, I wasn't digging that scene. It almost felt like a trip, like they were on like some sort of a trip. Like
the trip is called love.
A drug
called love.
Hallucination type of thing. I guess I've seen too many bad trips. No, I'm just kidding. No, I wasn't a big fan of that movie, like at that part of the movie. Yeah. Some of it was just so outlandish. And at one point I was just sort of like, when is this going to end?
Really?
Yeah, I felt like a lot. Like I feel like some of the dance numbers, especially the end, that last. I feel like the song went
Xanadu.
On
the final number.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah,
it was like 20 minutes long.
That is a
I'm
long
like, let's
scene.
end this movie, please.
So they, I will say this in the documentary. They also talk about that. You know how you started saying it's a roller skating movie. Mm-hmm. That's what they planned to make.
Oh,
they had because roller skating was a big craze, and they're trying to cash in on this craze. Mm-hmm. And they reached out to Olivia Newton-John, thinking she might say no. She said yes. And then that attracted more people and more interest and but then they realized they really didn't have a script. Like everyone said yes to this idea.
And then they still didn't
and they didn't have a script.
But I agree. I really am just still thinking about what you said about they focused on the wrong relationship. I think you're absolutely right. I think that would have been much more interesting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
They had more chemistry.
100%. And I do like the line. So there's a scene where remember they get pulled back into her world. Like he jumps through the wall, the brick wall, and
it's like the Aha videos.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like, Danny has a good line. So Danny is Gene Kelly's character.
Yes,
and he says, "Dreams don't die. We kill them."
Oh,
isn't that deep?
Yeah, I like
so
that.
Then later on, Mike, what's his name?
Was it Michael?
What was his name? Sonny.
Oh,
he basically roller skates into the brick wall, and he ends up in her world because it's just that easy. And the world is like all these like yellow and orange tube lights. Mm-hmm. And Olivia Newton-John says, it can't be done. Like that's never happened in the history of history. And she actually sold the line. I laughed out loud, and I remember really liking that line. Did you like Suspended in Time, that song? It's when she's back in her world. He gets thrown out by the parents.
I thought it was a little boring.
It is totally boring.
Yeah.
Yet, one of my favorite songs.
Interesting.
So they did nothing with it visually, other than they put her in like a yellow glow.
Right.
And it wasn't, and I thought it was a big hit. And I looked in Wikipedia.
Well, she's so talented.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, she could like sing the phone book and it would be beautiful. Like, it was a pretty song, but I felt like I might have like taken a break to get a drink or something during that song.
Awesome. And then I did like when they merged the 40s and the 80s together.
I liked it at first, but then it kept happening. Like, I felt like it went on a lot. I think it was like, I did eventually liked it. I eventually liked what they did, but it took a long time to get there. I liked the idea of it, but it wasn't until after the whole number where I was like, okay, I kind of liked that. I felt like it was a little too much at first, but it was, yeah.
Awesome.
Do we still have a friendship, Brian?
I actually appreciated it more now. That's, I think, maybe the only... Well, the Gene Kelly sequence and then this, that where they have the 40s mixing with the 80s. I really thought it was cool. And I liked how they physically combined the stages.
Yes.
And all on this, like, empty sound stage. And I was like, wow, that's different. Like, It
was different.
And I don't know if it was necessarily because it was low budget that they did it that way, but I was like, you know what, I appreciate the sort of rawness of this, and that one dancer of the 40s scene where he's like flinging her all around, she's bending all the way backwards. I want to double check. I think that is the woman in Dirty Dancing who has the affair with with the guy from the club, the one with the black hair. It looks a lot like her.
That would be,
and it would only be a matter of like 8 years, 7 or 8 years. So
in dancing still, right?
And she's dancing in
I think so. In my defense, remember, this is the first time I'm watching this movie, and there was a lot to digest in this movie.
Would you ever see it again?
I might. I think after I first saw it, I was like, I don't know, but because I do ask myself that question if I would see it again or if I would recommend it. I think I probably would, just because I know kind of what to expect now. Yeah. And I might be able to appreciate the individual scenes more. Yeah. And I'm not trying to figure out like this puzzle in front of me, like what is happening and what am I supposed to be, who am I supposed to be rooting for? And, you know, and yeah, so I think that I'd be able to like kind of relax a little bit more and be able to like digest each scene better. I think I would probably recommend it to people, but I would have to let them know exactly kind of what it's about first.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't recommend going in blind like I did. It was a bit much.
It's pretty noble.
Yeah.
To go in like without any research. Maybe it's
it was fun though. Yeah. It was fun, like not knowing anything about it. And
I do agree with you on Xanadu. That final sequence, it goes a long time. Now, I think I watched like slightly extended cut on the DVD. Did she appear in like a country western?
Yes.
So it is all that. It is all that.
Yes.
See, I don't know if I remember. I don't think I remembered it.
It was just weird.
It was so fucking weird. It is weird. Because it means it's nothing
Everything
about
about this
anything.
movie is weird. But yes, that like really like brought it all home. All that weirdness.
And Gene Kelly on roller skates. Oh my God, it's amazing. All right. So maybe, should we take a break?
Yeah, let's take a break.
Take a break.
Yeah.
I do have a lot of notes. I just want to quickly make sure I talked about everything.
All right,
and
we'll be
back.
right. We'll be right back. Hey there, it's Brian and Christina. We just wanted to take this break to thank you for listening to Old Roommates, the only podcast that revisits pulp culture through a middle-aged lens. Please subscribe to Old Roommates on iTunes, Spotify, and wherever you listen to podcasts. And give us a rating or review while you're there.
And if you have any questions, comments, or observations, shoot us an email at oldroommatespod@gmail.com. And follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Old Roommates. Thanks for listening, and now, back to the show.
And we're back.
Talking about...
Nice.
Couldn't resist.
Very nice, very nice. So what else, Brian?
I do have some final thoughts, if I may.
Well, my only final thought is, I don't really have a final thought, but my only other final comment is that we had talked about this a little bit at the break, that I felt like it was very difficult for me to take notes during this and like soak it all in. So I don't have as many notes. I'm sure I will come up with more thoughts later.
I was just thrilled that you would watch this again.
Yeah. I might have to.
So I will say some unexpected things that, one unexpected thing that I liked was, did you catch the scene that happens very fast when Sonny, Michael Beck, runs to find out more information about the girl on the album cover who is Kira, Olivia Newton-John. And he goes up to the guy who produced the album, or the guy who produced the album.
Okay.
And he's like, hey, I don't know. She never signed a W-2. Did you catch that line?
No, I didn't.
I never, probably when I was a kid, I wouldn't even know what a W-2 was, but this time I totally caught it. I was like,
that's so funny.
He actually tried to find out, like, legitimately who she was. A really random line that I never thought would appear in a film. Gene Kelly's character, Danny, is playing an instrument, clarinet on the rocks at the beach. Michael sees him, or Sonny sees him, and he goes up and he's like, "Hey, mister, what you doing up there?" Like it's any of his business. Again,
he's blowing a clarinet on the rocks at the beach. I mean, I don't know how you don't see this stuff, Brian.
Sonny said it, not me. But later on in that same scene, Gene Kelly at one point says, his character says, "They don't make rocks like they used to." Oh my god. It just made me laugh.
I remember that.
And then...
That is funny.
Another scene where I was like, sure. He runs over to the women that are on these motorbikes, and he's like, "I gotta borrow this." And what does the woman say? I wrote it down.
What did she say? Because I remember it being crazy.
He's like, "I have to borrow this." And she goes, "Sure."
Yeah, it was... And they were... I think they were...
Sure.
Like
you don't
they
know
loved
him
already. They thought he was cute or something.
Well... I do think they were the muse, so one of them was one of the muses from the thing, but you weren't, but it was not done that way.
That was not,
It was just the same actress, and I don't think that was intentional. But it was like, sure. And it's like...
And he's like, I'll return it.
Do you remember what happens?
It reminded me of Desperately Seeking
Susan, yes! That little sequel, you're right. And do you remember what happens to that motorcycle?
Oh no, I forget what happened.
Well, he crashes it into the dock, and he goes flying into the water.
Oh, that's right.
So that girl's probably not getting it.
Seeking Susan sort of situation. Maybe that's what it is.
But then she's not getting that.
She's not getting that back.
No. Let's see. And then the only other thing, you mentioned it, and it's right on. It's so on point. You mentioned that about Danny saying to Sonny, who he's known for 2 weeks, like, "You're my partner."
Yeah.
When you watch Xanadu, but when you watch Xanadu, pay attention to Michael Beck's face in that scene.
Okay.
It doesn't change the entire scene.
Oh my gosh.
Danny is truly saying, "You're my partner." There's no reaction.
Well, maybe he was trying to figure out if he was hitting on him or not.
But I think even that would be a reaction of some kind.
No, there should have been some sort of reaction. He was not a good actor.
No, he was really
not a good actor. It almost makes me want to see The Warriors to see if he had any speaking lines or anything.
The only other note I have is that at one point I wrote, I was telling Christina in our break that I watched this very late at night, and I wrote a soundtrack in search of a movie.
Oh, that's nice. I like that.
Which isn't the first time. I feel like there's movies that come out that are like, wait, what? I'm trying to think of one, but it's like where the soundtrack is just almost, I would almost then argue Purple Rain.
Oh, that's the first thing that
it's like,
popped into my head.
It's just
the storyline. You think about the story without the music, it would be about 10 minutes long.
It's like, my father doesn't love me. He beats me, so I'm going to mistreat women. The end. Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's Purple Rain. But, spoiler alert. And then the other thing, the Suddenly scene. You really like that song.
I did, yeah.
The whole thing is shot in such big shots that there's no real anything. Like, you don't get the sense they're falling in love. You get the sense they're just roller skating all around. It's just directed very weird.
They do kiss at some point in this movie, don't they?
I wrote that they even have a conversation. They do. I think they
Is it up in like a loft or something?
So they kiss right before the music, the animated sequence,
right?
Because they're kissing, and the glow around them turns them into these animated characters, which there's no comment of ever. Like, then it's not like the next morning he's like, "Hey, remember when we turned into goldfish?" Like,
see, so it is strange.
It's strange, yeah. So I
also think that they panned out because I'm not sure they were really like if they weren't stunt doubles doing the roller skating.
Yeah, that's interesting. Well, but they do show them. They show Olivia in the Xanadu sequence on roller skates most of the time. I don't know.
I'm just wondering, especially with him, like he clearly is not a skater.
No, he's not much of an actor. He's not a singer.
Poor
not a dancer. And even in that scene, the all over the world, when they go into the funky clothing shop.
The montage.
There is maybe a 2-second moment where he has to dance with them.
That's all he needed.
It's like, one of these things do not belong. Yeah. And is that all? Do you have anything else, Christina?
I don't think so. I like I said, like it was really hard to write down notes I'm sure there's other things.
I will say I was really glad to revisit this. There are scenes that, of course, things and scenes that are don't necessarily. I'm really I'm proud of you for watching it.
Well, I am happy that you suggested it.
Yeah. Oh, good.
I feel like my life is better because of watching the movie. So there is one thing that I wrote in here that was and again, it just speaks to the script.
Yeah.
I think it was during Suddenly because it was right after Suddenly. Does he do start flying or something on his skates?
So there's a scene where it's they're on the New York City rooftop and they slide up the not the smokestack, but they're on a New York City roof essentially, or city roof, fake city roof.
But at some point
and they fly. They both fly off and then they land.
My note down here is, why is he magic now? With a question mark. So I don't know if there was an extended flying sequence or something. Well, I'll have to revisit that scene. It could have been after that scene as well. It doesn't specify in my notes.
Yeah, interesting. I think it was just this fantasy moment.
Yes.
I think we were just supposed to think they were.
Yeah, right.
Because that whole scene was a fake world. The train comes and hits the bench, and it's all shot so broadly that there's never real danger. You don't feel them getting closer through this experience.
Right.
It's not a very good scene. Although the song is, to your point, the song is great. But I just love I love the whole soundtrack. I love them. I actually think I enjoyed it more because as a kid, I used to think the Gene Kelly scenes were dragging it down. And now that I'm an adult, it's wow, that is so much more the interesting story.
I could totally see that happening.
That'd be interesting. If they remake this, that's what they should focus on. And it is a weird one thing. Actually, never talking about this. She's a muse, and it is interesting that she doesn't seem to have a very good. Is it that they keep falling in love with her because she gets them to create their dream, and then she
said
leaves.
To her father this had never happened before.
But Gene Kelly.
Well, yeah. What about Gene Kelly? Was that nothing to her?
Yeah.
Or maybe she never fell in love with him.
Yeah.
Maybe that was it. But it does seem like they fall in love, and that's why she's the muse or whatever.
So I don't know.
I don't know. Interesting.
I would just think it's I feel like maybe her timeline should be improved because it's you get the person to create their dream and their opening night, you're like, bye, I'm breaking up with you. It's wait, no.
Good luck with that dream.
Right. So it's weird. Question time?
Question time. So, I have an F, Marry, Kill.
Okay.
Did you have something else?
Well, I also have an FMK. But if we can both do it.
It's probably the same characters.
Probably. Let's see. Good.
I see you trying to look.
I'm not. I can't read from here.
You're trying.
Go ahead. Questions.
All right. So question. All right. F, Marry, Kill. Sonny, played by Michael Peck. Beck. Sorry. Danny.
Yeah.
Played by Gene Kelly. And the third one is the boss.
I wrote Sonny, Danny, Bossy. So I don't know the boss's name. All right. So, one moment, please.
This is pretty.
Oh, I don't even know. Oh, God. All right. Ding.
Ding.
So I wrote, fuck Sonny, marry Danny, kill Bossy.
Same.
You have to. That's the only.
What are the other choices? This was the.
Although you know who's cute is Sonny's coworker, the guy, the kind of nerdy guy.
I don't remember how he looked.
He's cute. There's a scene at Xanadu, and I was like, "Oh, is that the same? That's his coworker." He looked a little different.
All right, let me think of another question. So I feel like I have a would you rather kind of situation happening. So let me think about it. I guess would you rather.
Oh, God. Well, if either of them are roller skates, I'm going to die.
No, I'm almost feeling like the character. Like, would you rather be Sonny or... I don't know. Never mind. I'm losing it.
Well, how about this? We don't like Michael Beck in this film.
Correct.
Who would we recast him with?
Oh, I like that.
Let's have an open conversation because it's 1980.
1980.
It would benefit this person if they could dance and sing
Yeah.
and roller skate and act,
Yeah.
of course. Would it be like Andy Gibb?
Oh my God,
Are you
Brian! I
seriously?
swear to God, the first person that popped into my head was Andy Gibb.
Yeah.
How bizarre is that?
Why didn't that happen? It should have been Andy
That's
Gibb.
exactly
And
who I thought of.
He even kind of resembles Michael Beck.
He does. Well, he has the same feathered hairstyle,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
I could see him on roller skates.
Yeah.
He could dance. He could sing. He could act. Right?
Yeah.
Was he? What did he?
He
act
did. He
in?
wasn't. He did act in
Was he
some
like
things.
Sgt. Pepper's or something? Or was
Yeah.
that somebody else?
Um,
That is so weird because
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, is that weird to say Andy Gibb? Like, I don't know why he just popped into my
yeah,
head.
because I don't ever think about him ever.
Me either.
No.
Anybody else?
I know. I'm trying to think. I mean, Richard Gere. Richard Gere's American Gigolo at this point. So, and we know now that he can
still
sing.
seems so old and stiff. I don't know.
No,
I can't see him on roller skates. Was he on roller skates in American Gigolo?
No, what I'm saying is like so we know from Chicago that he can sing
Yes.
and dance. We know he can act,
almost.
and so they have to teach him how to do.
So
be
like
on
a
roller
triple
skates.
threat kind of situation.
Yeah, because I think he has the moodiness that Sonny would require.
Yeah.
He seems sort of tortured, and he can act. I wonder if I would love to dig up like who they had in mind for this role.
That would be
because Michael
interesting
Beck
to see.
is just not. He's not even a threat, let alone a triple threat.
Right. I wonder how about something like someone like David Cassidy.
That ties up. Would he be too young?
Partridge Family was 70s.
All right.
So, and he was like, 18 or something.
That's true.
In Partridge Family.
It'd be interesting. He almost looks too squeaky clean.
I liked him.
All right.
But why wouldn't, I could see him. I could see him pulling it off.
Yeah. All right.
And he could sing and dance.
Oh, and you already noticed something in the credits, really quick. One of the actress's last names is Lattanzi. And remember Olivia Newton-John married Matt Lattanzi?
Interesting.
Right, and he was in that movie Heaven, and he played a male dancer. And I didn't even... and
is this the guy that ended up, disappearing off the face of the earth?
No.
That's the other one?
No, my friend Ryan and I, he might be listening, Ryan Lovett, we did a BuzzFeed piece called Reasons to Believe Olivia Newton-John is a Witch. And we just found all these funny clips and little news articles where she has she either plays someone with magical powers or in her video she has magical powers.
Well, the end of Grease, she had a magical car
to fly the car.
Yep.
In Twist of Fate, the video, she knocks down walls with a blink of an eye.
Yeah.
In
Physical, she transforms all
the
of
chubby guys into gay guys. Yeah, but I just love Olivia Newton-John.
I do
but
too.
But anyway, I'm so glad we did this.
Me too.
And and you have to figure out which movie I'm going to watch. Well, we shouldn't.
I think I have a few in mind.
There's a few in mind. Yeah.
I think I'm narrowing it down.
But I think that's it. Good times.
Good
Go watch Xanadu.
So I guess that's it for this episode of Old Roommates.
Thanks for listening. Please subscribe to Old Roommates on iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, and wherever you listen to podcasts. And give us a rating or review while you're there. And if you have an idea for the show, a suggestion, comment, email us at oldroommatespod@gmail.com.
And don't forget to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Old Roommates. This is Christina.
And this is Brian.
Thanks again for listening. Till next time.